Real change that will change our relationship as a human species towards the mobs and the mafia folks that trade in children and all kinds of trafficking and disgusting behavior, wars and killings, these psychopaths. The only way that the human species can get past them is to break through their artificial control of energy. That means to develop technologies that are so decentralized and their ability to be distributed, produced, created, harnessed, used, that you simply cannot roll it all back and constrict it into the rent-seeking behavior, the troll behavior that allows them to have such control over the world. You've got to break through with the energy. And this is requiring people to think outside the box at a level that those who are addicted to idolizing politicians simply are afraid to do. They don't have the leadership foresight to do it. They're afraid. It's not trendy. Right now, it's trendy to pick your little team, to talk about how libertarians are the bad guys. That's trendy. Oh, I'm doing something. How about low temperature nuclear energy? I don't know about that. Why don't you look into it? The textbook says that can't happen. Oh, okay. No sovereignty, no nothing. Total debt slave, total warmonger controlled, useless, neutered people. That's what you're going to get if you can't think critically and say, wait a second, if I really want to beat globalists, if I really want to beat warmongers, if I really want to get past this debt machine, because guess what? This is better than the Massey approach, which is, the libertarian online, oh, we got a problem with our debt. Well, that's useless too. I mean, insofar as that's all you've got, how about say that there's a problem with debt and then create low temperature nuclear energy? How about have 5 companies create it at the same time, startup capital? You guys could fundraise this stuff easily if you guys got your brains in the game. I'm talking about all the people online who are concerned about debt, who are concerned that America is not going to have much of a future, or the world for that matter. Look into that topic. Oh, but the textbook says that can't happen. Okay, well, if you're going to be that low energy that a textbook stops you like a concrete wall, then you're not ready to be a leader. You're not ready to even help leaders if you can't even start thinking with an open mind, thinking with a bold mind, thinking with a creative mind, which is your birthright, which is your purpose on earth. You were put in a garden, and then at the end of the story, the anthology of the Bible, there's a city with a garden in the middle of it. That means there was something that you were building. You were supposed to build something. And I see people who are more excited and enamored with the fact that they think they found the right tradition when it comes to their Christian faith than actually understanding what it means to be like Christ, who says, behold, I make all things new. The purpose of a tradition is absolutely essential to ground you in the truth, in the record of history. But this idea that we can just sit there and wait for, this kind of malaise energy to say, hey, wait a second. Behold, I make all things new. That means that we should have this forward vision in the way we animate our time, our thinking, our creativity, our organizing in society. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And I hope that we can really change the conversation. We have 24/7 energy panels that need to be developed. We have low temperature nuclear energy ideas that need to be developed, that need to be funded, that need to be encouraged. And you think this is just some kind of arbitrary, just try guys or do something. No, I truly believe that where humanity puts its focus and attention, now it doesn't have to be a majority. We're not doing that kind of thing. But if a concerted small group of people would spend half as much energy as they do fighting over worship this politician or hate this politician or complain about this problem or wonder about the Epstein files, what a loser's hand, what a waste of time, what a disobedience to the call of being a Christian adult. We should be creating, we should be bold, we should be coordinating information. We should be experimenting. We should be creating startups to develop these technologies. We don't need any new apps. great if you have an app, but that's not what we really need to get to the real breakthrough moment. We need to have endless, unlimited energy that's decentralized, that can't be choked off, that can't be sequestered into pipelines, that can't be sequestered by, a government licenses. It can't be a type of technology which is fundamentally easy to be scandalized as a dangerous technology, because that will be easily regulated and sequestered away from the masses. It has to be something that is safe, easy, intuitive, decentralized, not based in any particular landmass region. In other words, close to post scarce as possible, right? Close to that as possible. And it's not just one technology. It needs to be a confluence of different technologies coming to the table. But if people use that kind of courageous inquiry, they could get a lot farther along than fighting over scandalizing this politician or supporting this group, or this group's not cool now, that group's cool, or we have to be collectivists. We have to, read this book and that'll fix us. No, we know better than that. We know better than that. And those who have been listening to this show and watching this show for years, you know better than that. That's why you were ahead of the curve before a lot of the biggest things that have come along in this culture. When you understand human nature, when you understand anthropology, when you understand physics, when you understand these foundational forces that are moving things, the world becomes a lot more interesting in your ability to decipher where it's going and where it can end up. And there is a massive openness to the future. But we don't have to sit like little lemmings and say, well, our job is to sit in the crowd and cheer for the right characters and boo the right characters and enjoy the show and buy the merch. No, that's not our job. That's what I see with these podcast circles and all this stuff. Pick the right team, use the right memes, say the right little catch naughty words. Oh, wow, you're signaling that you're part of the little crowd, that's the little trend here, the little trend there. Nobody wants to do the hard work. It's like the little red hen. Nobody wants to bake the bread. Nobody wants to make the flour. Nobody wants to make the low temperature nuclear energy. Nobody wants to say that they're the weirdo trying that thing. Nobody wants to say they're creating panels with dense energy in the form of what we've talked about this on the show many times, that you can have these 24/7 energy panels. We have them, but we need to have people doing more of this. More talking about this. This needs to be a community around this. Just like you guys rip off my ideas on other podcasts for politics or scapegoating or charade or what other things, rip off this stuff and actually get in your garage and do these things, or work with and find engineers who are doing it and support them and help them better than I have, or better than, what we have been doing behind the scenes. But we need lots and lots of people giving an attention and their energy and their creativity to this framework, because that's the kind of change that's going to really make a difference. And then you have other things like being able to have elemental transmutation, that we don't have to fight over who's going to have access to Ukraine's minerals and all this archaic, 19th century approach to things. We're past that, right? But as long as your framework is limited to reacting to whatever the left is doing, or reacting to whatever this MAGA is doing, or libertarian, or whatever little gimmick that makes you fired up and feel like you're in a little fantasy world, you're out of the game. You're not in it. So think critically. Think about how to raise the metabolism of the whole human species by getting the right kind of energy paradigms distributed, developed, talked about, excited. Bring all the attention economy to that. As long as they have real energy behind it, real productive energy that can be used for the economy, that's what we need. Because when we get that, then we get to say bye-bye to those who constrict us with debt. I'm David Gornoski. You can email me, hello@aneighborschoice.com. Godspeed.